Okay, so today's video is gonna kind of be a piggyback off of the last video we did about Riley Gaines. That one was more so about just kind of the craziness that's being said at these like talking sessions that she's doing across campuses and stuff. However, this story just came out like yesterday, how it says terrified swimming champion Riley Gaines is ambushed by screaming trans activists and hit twice by a guy in a dress after her, I guess, speech, saving women's sports speech at San Francisco State University. As cops say, there were no arrests, and then it goes on to say Riley Gaines filmed herself being ambushed. The swimming champion was forced to barricade herself inside a room for apparently 3 hours. Now, there's been some media coverage on it. I've been seeing a lot more like Fox News reach out to her and talk to her. I see there was something from NBC here, so we're going to take a look at this. But here's just like a mini snippet of what kind of craziness was happening.
It's just me. I'm good. I'm trusting.
Like, this is supposed to be free speech campuses. You're supposed to go see people speaking. If you don't want to, you can protest. You don't corral somebody in a hallway, chase them down, berate them with verbal abuse, like this whole mob, and she's one person. This is crazy. And this is just some of the clips that were made into like a compilation. Now she did state that in the classroom that she was making her speech, everyone was respectful. There was no hostility there, but the crowd started forming outside, and as she was finishing her speech, I guess, and maybe the doors opened, she got bum rushed by all of these people. Now, like I said, I'm going to play the NBC clip here.
San Francisco State University just became a flashpoint in a heated debate. A debate about transgender athletes competing in women's sports. Controversial speaker claims she was assaulted after speaking on campus last.
I don't know why she's controversial when she's a female talking about female sports and not having biological men in the sport. But that's controversial, apparently.
Night. NBC Bay Area's Ian Cole has the video going viral in political circles, as well as response from that speaker.
And you can see these videos all over Twitter as well.
Just saying. Riley Gaines is a college swimmer and a prominent conservative figure.
So you can see here the classroom, everything seems to be fine. People are sitting down, they're listening to her, it's all attentive. It's what's happening outside.
Who has been speaking out against transgender women competing in women's sports.
All I hear is selfishness.
Gaines became a national face of the push to ban transgender athletes after losing an NCAA championship race to Leah Thomas, a transgender swimmer.
Lawmakers presenting, saying why I should not have a voice.
The San Francisco State student newspaper Golden Gate Express posted this video of Gaines speaking about the issue on campus last night. The speech was hosted by Turning Point USA, a nonprofit that advocates for conservative causes. As Gaines spoke, demonstrators inside and outside of the room held
well, this is in the hallway.
and chanted trans rights are human rights. Gaines claims she was ambushed and physically hit by protesters as she attempted to leave. Both Gaines and the Express posted videos showing her being escorted by police to another room. The videos show loud crowds but don't specifically show her being struck by anyone. Her representatives say she was trapped for
Now, I will say, regardless if she got hit or not, this is not proper etiquette. This is not proper decorum. Like, if somebody's coming to speak and you have an issue with it, yes, you can protest, but this is totally different. You're literally corralling this girl, swarming her, ambushing her, forcing her to have the police bring her from one room to another room and leave her in that room for 3 hours till they can figure out a proper exit plan for her. And then you're just yelling obscenities. You know, these people are just Looney Tunes. I don't know how they think that this is the proper way to behave. And I feel like, yes, these are colleges and universities and whatnot. As these kids start to get older, they're going to realize that all this behavior that they were doing is probably going to bite them in the ass later on, or they're going to realize that they were quite stupid for acting the way they were.
3 hours before she could be escorted off campus safely. Her agent saying in a statement, instead of a thoughtful discussion at SFSU, Riley was violently accosted, shouted at, physically assaulted, and barricaded in a room by protesters. It is stunning that in America in 2023, it is acceptable for biological male students to violently
100%.
assault a woman for standing up for women's rights. The incident immediately caught national attention, with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy tweeting, "This is an appalling attack on free speech on a college campus." The University Police Department wrote, "We are conducting an ongoing investigation into the situation. There were no arrests related to the event. The disruption occurred after the conclusion of the event, which made it necessary for UPD officers to move the event speaker from the room to a different safe location." Some students we spoke with today say they don't support the idea of assaulting a speaker if that happened, but nearly all say they support transgender athletes.
I feel like sports should be open to anyone no matter what gender they're.
I'm going to guess she doesn't play a sport, so like it's totally different when you're coming from a mindset of an athlete who's put in the time, in the effort to get to a certain point in their life. And it's not to say that the trans gender person hasn't also, but again, there's different categories for a reason. Men perform differently than women. Men will outperform women differently. Like, so yes, they're both putting in the same amount of effort, I guess you could say, but the outcomes are going to be different just because of the biology. So you can't say it should be open to everybody.
Born into.
Having that swimmer speak out against it, I don't know, it seems like it's very controversial, and it's very, I feel like it's rooted in hate, possibly.
It's not rooted in hate. Again, this is the sport that they've dedicated their time and their energy and their life to then have to go against something completely, like something that they've not been training to do. They train to swim against other women. They don't train to swim against guys. And even if they did train to swim against guys, clearly there's going to be disadvantages there. So it has nothing to do with hate. It's all about the fairness. That's why we have men's sports and women's sports. Like, I don't know how in 2023 this is still a conversation of, like, a topic of conversation.
Queer and Trans Resource Center that's run by students here made it a point to say that none of its staff was involved in the protest. In fact, they say that that protest was organized by someone who isn't even a student. Meanwhile, Gaines' agent says he wants any of the students that became violent last night to be expelled and prosecuted. At San Francisco State, Ian Cole, NBC.
I mean, that's going to be, I think, hard to prove. But the fact of the matter is, she's simply coming to the universities, expressing how her experience was as a female in female sports, going up against a biological man, trans woman, and how it's unfair, shouldn't be allowed. That's why we have the distinctions within the sports. And then you have people that are acting like this. But it's also interesting that it's happening to her, whereas there's been plenty of other speakers who go against this, like, you know, Michael Knowles, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, you know, any other, I guess, of the right-wing conservative people who go against talking about this. And none of them, I've never seen clips of them getting ambushed like this, or terrorized or corralled or anything like that. But to this young girl, they feel like it's okay that, you know, just another day in the neighborhood. I'm so confused by this. But anyways, love to hear from you guys, and I will catch you guys on the next one.